Good afternoon, colleagues, and welcome to this session of our workshop. My name is Professor Richard Boatin from University of Ghana. I'll be talking about internet applications for work. And I say kudos to Catch Up and his team for putting this together. Africa needs this, and I think I'm also very glad that you are all participating. Hope you're going to have a great time together. So I want to clap for you for participating in this and supporting this initiative. Okay, so what we discussed today is to look into some of the emerging information technologies that we need to change the way we do our work in our office spaces. Also, we'll be discussing cloud and productivity tools, collaboration and teamwork applications, and internet for research. And within a short time, about 30 minutes, I'll try my best to do what I can within the time, but I think there's a lot to be covered. But the video made available to you post the event so that you could actually watch it at your own pace and become more conversant with some of the other technologies I discussed within this particular session. So we'll discuss cloud computing and then emerging cloud and mobile tools. We'll also assess and some of the software we use for collaboration, teamwork, and examine the use of the internet for research. So my topics are just three key topics, just in line with the objectives of the study of this particular session. I'll start with the cloud and mobile productivity tools. So what is cloud? Cloud is just a virtual environment which can support or facilitate access and the use of diverse applications. Sometimes some of the applications are just softwares or a platform or an infrastructure that others may be able to use through an agreement. So a service provider will provide you the service on a cloud interface. But what goes into the cloud is sometimes confusing to people. So I'll just let us watch a little video so that we can have unbox what is within the cloud and what makes it, why is it called a cloud. So what is cloud?
Here you are working at your computer. Huh, what's that noise? Suddenly, a meteorite crashes to Earth, specifically into your living room. Sadly, your computer is no more, but thankfully all your music, photos, and important documents are stored online, in the cloud. When something is stored in the cloud, that means it's stored on internet servers instead of on your computer. It's like having an extra hard drive, one that you can access anywhere and anytime you're connected to the internet. In the past, you only had a home computer and the software you installed on it. Now you can take your files anywhere thanks to cloud-based applications called web apps, which run inside your internet browser. A web app that you may already use is Google Docs. It's free. You don't have to install anything to use it, and it allows you to create several different types of projects. You can access everything that you create in Google Docs from any computer or device with an internet connection. Since you only need a connected device to access the cloud, you can take your music, photos, and videos with you wherever you go. For instance, if you take a photo on your smartphone and upload it to a cloud-based photo storage service like Flickr or Picasa, you can access that photo on any of your other devices, on your computer, or even on your TV. You can share your vacation photos with friends and family while you're still on vacation.
So what we see is that the cloud applications allow us to be able to share content across the world. And when you upload your content on the cloud, you can access it anywhere you are. So you could just pick up your computer, just find in the computer and use your password and your password and your access details to be able to access information. So cloud helps us to extend the reach of our information and make it accessible anywhere. And there are quite a number of cloud applications that you may already know of. The Zoom application we are using now is a cloud-based application. that allows you to just connect and then and have a virtual meeting with someone. And then you also have other ones for like Skype that has been there for some time. And most of the social media platforms, but almost all of them use cloud services to be able to store the information data. That's why you could actually log into another computer and then watch your videos, irrespective of where you are, and also be able to track your content. So cloud applications have been around, have been with us for some time. Just that we don't take notice of them. And in the office space, in the question that comes up, what kind of cloud apps are relevant for the office? So let's ask ourselves, what do we do in the office? We plan activities and schedule appointments. We write reports and do or documents. We communicate with others in person over distance. We have meetings and discuss with people. We keep records. We manage projects. These are just about 6 key things that we do in the office, but we do more than that. Now, can you imagine how that all these applications, all these activities can be done through a cloud type of service? How will it look like? So when we look at cloud services, these are some of the tools that can help us do our 6 services here, 6 activities here. So we have one, plan activities and schedule appointments. You have a list called Todoist, www.todoist.com. If you go to that page, you can be able to create your own list and then be able to access information from there. And then you also have a calendar, a Google Calendar that you can also access information on the Google Calendar. And you can set appointments, and you can actually, because it's on a cloud, you can access on your phone, you can actually access on your computer and access it wherever you are. We also have a writing aid called Grammarly. That's good for editing. It's a cloud-based platform that helps you to be able, that has also an AI or an artificial intelligence or system that helps to be able to check grammatical errors in your work as you write. It can also help to be able to check the better advice on appropriate construction of sentences. We will have a look at that later. Then you also got notes, Evernote, that you take notes. Then communication tools like Zoom, active time tracking tools to be able to track your time and log on your time to go. And then on the other side, we have Gmail, which we all know about. That we mentioned that Google Apps are quite a number of them. And the Gmail helps us to do with our communicate with others. For storing information and storing information, we have got Google Drive and Dropbox. For storing records, we could also use some project management tools, team chat, and then workspace, all our project management tools to manage teams. But for records, there's a platform called NAC, Knack, that helps you to create your own forms. Google Forms can also help keep records, but you can store your own forms and be able to use it to do some kind of analytics to know what kind of data you have, what information is existing in these forms, and then be able to also use it as application gateways to collecting data from people. So we have forms either coming from Google Forms or NAC. You have got tools for managing projects like Team Chat, Workspace, and then project management tools like ClickUp. So quite a number of them exist. I'm going to take an example from one above and one below, and then we can use that one to see what we can do. Okay, so let's look at Grammarly.
Grammarly does more than catch errors. With Grammarly, you can find really good, no, perfect words that make your writing sharp or explicit or excellent or distinctive. As a matter of fact, for what it's worth,
actually, when you subscribe to Grammarly, and you install it, it can be embedded into your browser. So that whilst you are typing your emails and communicating in the office space, I use it as part of my Outlook. So as I work in my office space and I send emails across the university and others to students and to other partners, it checks the errors in my grammatical errors in my email constructions or my messages, and then helps me to correct them and make them better. So I'm able to communicate more effectively because I'm using Grammarly.
Grammarly does more than catch errors. With Grammarly, you can find really good, no, perfect words that make your writing sharp or explicit or excellent or distinctive. As a matter of fact, for what it's worth, Grammarly can, yeah, that's long. We can get rid of that and this, good. and this, or how about this? Grammarly helps you be concise. If your tone might make someone feel like this, Grammarly can remind you. It would help if you soften your tone. And if you need the support, Grammarly encourages you to write confidently. Because the better we all communicate, the better we connect. Grammarly, helping you connect. Go to grammarly.com and download today.
So what Grammarly does is that it helps you to connect through communicating better. So that's one thing that I would advise that anybody who is working in the space that you write a lot, you have to communicate on through research reports or documents that are quite voluminous. You have to read through them. Grammarly is a very good tool for you to aid you in your editing, and I use it myself. And I advise you to. You can use it on the or through a browser. You can also install it as a plugin into your Word document and then use it. Okay, and then let's look at another one from a project management perspective. This is called Notion. And see what Notion can do.
We all crave clarity and organization. We want a quiet space to think, and we want all the information we need to be there when we need it. Notion gives you both. Whether you're working on your own or on a team of thousands, Notion provides a single space to organize everything that matters. One space to capture your thoughts, manage your projects, or even run an entire company. Every team can have their own home base. Notion is a single home for all your need to knows and need to do's, displayed any way you need to see them. Notion gives you a clean, open surface where you can think, write, and plan. Just start typing. It's that simple. Or add any other type of content you like. Images and videos. And much more. Design pages exactly the way you want them. And when you change your mind, rearrange them with a simple drag and drop. Everything in Notion can be customized to grow and change with you. Create as many pages as you need. Pages focused on today. Pages plotting your path to tomorrow. Nest pages within pages within pages, so that everything has its place. And you have clear pathways to everything. Find anything with a few clicks. Whether it's your team wiki, product roadmap, meeting notes, or personal tasks. When you use Notion with your team, you share a workspace so that everyone has the same source of truth. Collaborate on the same page at the same time. Or work asynchronously across time zones. And pick up right where your teammates in London or Seoul left off yesterday without missing a thing. And it goes far beyond documents. Create databases to manage team-wide projects, track deals, onboard new employees, publish to the web. Everything you see can be modified to fit you and your team. In a world of too much information scattered across too many tools, sending too many notifications, Notion offers something new. A calm, clear place to focus on the things that actually matter to you.
So what you see here is that Notion tends to bring together all the things that we talked about earlier. I mentioned different types of apps, and you look at it very carefully. Notion has lists in it, it has calendar in it, it has notes, ability to do notes, ability to bring different content and then manage them together. And it also helps to be able to track. So there you can also track and collaborate with other people who you are working with in a team. So noting is something that I will advise that if you would like to look for a simple project management tool like this, you can be able to consider that one. Okay. Now, one thing I would just want to point out is that it's not as easy. All these applications, some of them are free, some of them are relatively free, means that they maybe you can try for 30 days, and after 30 days, you have to start paying for them. Others are commercial, to just give you licenses, so you have to purchase the licenses. I always advise that always check whether they are competing apps which can do similar things as what you are looking for. so that before you end up investing and paying, or read about the reviews or what challenges the people face, especially from the wherever your contextual your background. If you're in Africa and you are trying to adopt some of these applications, you have to also ask yourself that the context of your workplace cannot be able to fit in and know how many people will be using. So you have to see that sometimes you may even bring it, you may have to be the evangelist for that particular app, because maybe the first person among your team members having the app, and you have to use it for some time to be able to communicate to others to use it. So finding help, you may have to go online to find help on it. Some of the apps have got so much help on YouTube. So they have a lot of to do step-by-step process. For Notion is an example of that. You can find quite enough information on, and Google Docs and Google Forms too. You can find quite enough information on Google on YouTube concerning how to use these applications. So you also have to ask yourself, are you going to be using on a desktop or your mobile or both? So, because all of these ones can give you quite the ones on mobile are quite versatile, but sometimes it's the space for you to be able to look at, to be able to visualize items on that you have put them together, it may be very limited. So you need something that is quite has a larger screen so that you could actually enjoy the experience. That may be on your computer or your laptop or your desktop. So that one you may have to consider that. Yeah. So are you going for a free subscription or a paid? And who is paying? Is it your office or you yourself? These are some of the things that you want to think about before you jump into making a purchase. But it's always good to try the applications and get to know which of them that you like very much. Now, if for example, I mentioned Notion, I mentioned Evernote, I mentioned Zoom itself, I mentioned Gmail. These are not the only applications that exist in their category. So sometimes you can actually find type productivity apps or applications and in Google or in YouTube, and you can find other reviews of other applications, including the ones I mentioned here, that you can also be able to consider. So using cloud applications matter. They help to be able to synchronize your information across the web, so that whenever you need them, you can be able to have it at any time with the snap of your finger connected to the internet. You can have access to your information. Good. Now let's look at the next thing. We talk about collaboration and team working applications. So I'm hoping we are doing good on time. Now collaboration has become very, very important because there's an adage that together everyone achieves more. When we come together, we can achieve more together. So what is interesting is that after, in this post-pandemic era, or even the latter part of the pandemic era, we realized that there's been a need for more collaboration. The workplace itself has changed. People have moved out from offices, the traditional offices, to different or more open spaces, and we're working from home. So now it means that we need to find a way of collaborating to get work done. That brings the challenge that sometimes we have to build formal teams or informal teams and exchange information all across the globe. I would say information 24/7 to be able to get our work activities done. So some work activities that used to be done at a shorter time, but of course now we are working from home. The timelines sometimes change, and we have a lot of work to do. So the collaboration is becoming important because of the changing nature of work, the growth of professional work, which involves much more interaction, and the changing organization of the firm are really being restructured to be much more open to allow views from others to come in. So there's been a shift, and that shift has also been spurred by innovation, because innovation is shaping culture now. Innovation is actually going ahead and recommending things that the next generation should consider having. So we have a challenge here that we can't sit and say that we won't collaborate. We need to collaborate. And collaboration, we need to be able to know the tools that we can use to collaborate. So in unpacking them, we have collaboration technologies can be classified in terms of whether they support interactions at the same time or at different times. So there's synchronous and asynchronous. The synchronous has to do with face-to-face interactions. So that tells you the kind of facility that you need. And then sometimes some of them may be at the same space, or some of them may be by connection through a remote a technological system. So somebody can use video conferencing to connect with others to be able to have a kind of a virtual face-to-face meeting with that person. However, There are certain times that we can't have synchronous meetings. We have to use a synchronous meeting. So we may have to actually record and place it online and make it available for others to come and watch. So in such scenarios, technologies that can enable us to be able to document and put information out there, and also to be able to package and then make it available for someone else to watch later may become what's necessary. For example, Zoom has a functionality in that when you put on the video, it records you and the person delivering the information or all activity that is done within that period of time. And later it can upload it into a server and let you download it. Then you can actually make it available to others. So synchronous and then asynchronous are quite a number of things that we will come across in making these choices. The question is what do you want to do? Do you want asynchronous communication with somebody or asynchronous communication in doing a collaboration with someone, or you want some face-to-face interaction during your collaboration? These are choices that you have to make, but there are technologies to support that. Okay. Now, what's interesting is that you see that some of the apps that we mentioned collaboration are just the same apps that are supporting in other fields are used for in terms of how they are structured, how they are made. They are also cloud-based applications. So that's the secret about them. For Google Apps is for collaboration, but the same Google Apps is also a cloud-based application. So most of the cloud-based, I tend to argue that most of the by far most of the cloud-based applications are mobile friendly, and they are also collaborative tools on their own. Okay, so there's Trello. That's used for share. It's a share board, an online share board where people post information and then also exchange notes. And then you also have a Dropbox, which you mentioned earlier. Then you've got Slack, which helps you to synchronize team activities. OneDrive, which is the Microsoft answer to the cloud storage drive that is going on. Microsoft has one, Dropbox has one, Google has one. Yeah. Then there are platforms that are also used for declaring what you have been able to do and how much you have used your day. One is idonethis.com, track work done by the team. So the team members can log in to let us know how much work they have put across, especially in the project management activity. Then you have got other video conferencing tools like Swiggle and Zoom. And then there's also the ones that can help you to make notes as Evernote. Now, you realize, as I mentioned, there's not much difference between some of the collaborative tools and then some of the tools I just mentioned right now. Now, the reason is because we are in an era of the cloud, and most of the applications are being built from the cloud perspective. So Dropbox has a cloud, is a cloud-based storage platform, and there are quite a number of other ones that are there. But all of them, what they try to do is to these tools themselves, apart from giving collaboration, they're also mobile friendly. So there are app versions of them that you can download and use on your computer, on your phone. So it's don't be surprised that you are seeing some of these applications as cloud-based applications. You're also seeing them as collaborative applications. Collaborative applications focus more on teamwork and bringing teams together. Okay, now let's go to as I'm left to about 15 minutes, let me go to the internet for research, and that's going to be the lengthier presentation I have to put across. Now, I define research as a systematic and organized way of finding answers to questions. But in a simple sense, some others say that it's an investigation into a particular topic or social phenomena. In the more detailed definition, we say it's a systematic way of finding answers to questions. Why do we say systematic? It's systematic and organized because sometimes research largely belongs to a particular academic discipline or knowledge discipline or scientific discipline. So whenever you're doing research, you have to know how research is done by that scientific discipline so that you can be able to follow the ethics or the principles of that scientific discipline. When you finish, they can say they accept your work as valid research. Okay. So always keep in mind that whenever you're doing research, you have to think about the audience who is going to use the research, and the audience can influence how you do the research. Okay, so to be able to look for information on the internet or use the internet for research, the first thing that you need to think about is that, do you have a topic? To be able to search for information, you have to have a topic in mind, or you can start with something and refine it and change it later. Then you also have to know how to identify and locate literature, ensure relevance. The relevant literature that is relevant, that's more appropriate to you, you separate them. And then you record and retrieve, you review and summarize, and then you write. So to be able to put something together and write up together, it should be based on some good reading. It should be based on some good reading, which I'll mention as we go on. Now, the choice of topic can be influenced by either you yourself, your interests, what you're interested in, or your workplace, where your workplace is. You may want to try to explore some phenomenon you have seen in your workplace, or your community, coming from a sponsor, a client. They can tell you that they want to do something like this. Can you give them a potential solution for it? And sometimes trends and news can also be an important determiner of your topic. If you have somebody who is drawn to what is sensational, what just came up, you may end up thinking about choosing doing research around things that are more trendy and more current. But most importantly, irrespective of all the other ones I mentioned, the gaps in the literature, or the gaps that exist, is what matters more. Whenever anybody is trying to do a good research, you have to find out what gap exists currently. What are the previous attempts of addressing this issue? What are the new questions that I could ask? So that time when you have these new questions, you could actually narrow them down on either policy or programs or whatever it is, to be able to learn more from them. So your choice of topic, your interests, the workplace, the community, the trends, the sponsor or client, and the most important, the gaps that you have found in the literature. Okay. Now, how do you find information? You can find information for internet research from existing databases or statistical reports, like the Millennium, the recent census, which data will be out soon, should be made available on the Statistical Service website for others to download. There are periodicals, there are government documents, there are policy reports and presented papers, books, and scholarly journals. All of this play a key role in helping you to form the knowledge and understanding that you need when in your workplace, or even in your research endeavors. If you are a researcher or a practitioner who wants to career out in research, so some of these databases help. Let me give you an example. The online statistical sources can either be World Bank, or, for example, if you're in Ghana, the statistical unit in Ghana is called Ghana Statistical Service, so you can get information from there. And then you can also draw on other global bodies that also have information by going to their website. Then you also have other specialist databases or websites which kind of curate information from academics. So Emerald Insight, like this, is an academic publisher. IGI Global is an academic publisher. JSTOR is a database that hosts quite a number of information. And the Social Science Research Network also holds quite a number of good knowledge about what we are trying, good knowledge that can shape a person's thinking and a person's research endeavor. So whenever you want to do research, always ask them, where are you searching for information? Where is going to be, what information is this out there? Where are you searching for the information from? Now, there are also search engines like Google Scholar or Google Scholar, which can help in finding out scholarly information, and then or Google itself, or Bing, and then YouTube. These are some of the dominant search engines or information engines that you could actually use. Then beyond that, there are also learning platforms that others develop. Some of them are on YouTube. Others have got their own dedicated website, like Udemy, Coursera, Khan Academy, Code Academy, EDX, PDF Drive, and SlideShare. Now, the objective is that when you can go to this platform and learn new skills in either in programming, or new skills which may be complementary to what you have been doing in a particular area, even new skills that may be relevant in your daily activities. So this learning platform has quite a number of information, and they come in video, so it's very easy for you to watch and then practice. Okay. Now, how do you search for information? All the different search engines I told you have primarily got a basic search where you can type something and search for information. But later on, you can also be able to use an advanced search if they have an advanced search button, so that you can actually compare information. So, for example, let me just do a demonstration right now. Let's see how it looks like. So let's say that I'm doing a research on corporate governance, and I want information. I want to know more about corporate governance. I could actually go to Google Scholar or Google is type corporate governance. I don't think everybody can see, so let me just zoom in. So look at the information I'm getting. Just give me definition and some other websites. But look at how it's going to differ when I start searching for that same information from scholar.google.com, scholar.google.com, and you see that the whole information will change. Now I have relevant information that I may need for my work. A survey of corporate governance, 1997, corporate governance and control. So in my advanced search, I can actually limit that. I want only papers that were published since 2017. So they can give me that one. And I can also add other parameters to be able to pull out what information I can need. But you see, because Google is a search engine, the actual pages you can find the information is actually listed on the side here. So you can see them here where you can find the information. But it's a good starting point. If you look at the first one, corporate governance and firm performance, the sequel, and it was published in Journal of Corporate Finance, 2019, and the impact of corporate governance on corporate tax avoidance, a literature review, corporate governance in China, a survey. So you are seeing that there are quite a number of different topics, and you could actually use it to help you narrow down on what could be of interest to you. So that's what helps us to be able to get information. And when you are searching for such information and you get one. So for example, you go to this place and you're able to download a paper. The most important thing is that try to go through the abstract before you download so that you can assess the relevance of the article before you download. Because if you have about 300 articles and you download all of them, you have 300 sheets, 300 different articles, each of them having about 15 pages to be able to read. That will be a lot of work. So we try to be more, at this stage, pick what is more relevant to what we are doing. More relevant to what we are doing. So the article surveys corporate governance in China as described in the growing literature published in top journals. Unlike the classical vertical agency problems in Western countries, the dominant agency problem in China is the horizontal agency conflict between controlling and minority shareholders arising from the concentrated ownership structure. That's one cannot automatically apply for what is known about USA. What is known about USA to China? Okay, so you have to find out what to work in China. So I mean, reading the abstract, it gives you an idea of what the person is doing in the paper. Those abstract is good, so they can be able to separate what may not be necessary from what is necessary. Okay. So going back to I want to go back to my presentation. No, I want rather go back to my slides. So you record and retrieve and you save them. We advise that when you are saving your files, you save them with relevant names. Like after you have found quite a number of information, you can save them as topic or by sector. So sometimes if I found something like corporate governance, I can write corporate governance, the sector is maybe manufacturing, and I write a country, Ghana. So that anytime I look at it, I can remember that this article in this PDF is from Ghana, it's on corporate governance, or it's upon this other sub-issue. And then these are the sector that it covers, so that I can keep that in mind. Okay. Now, we also advise that you can also use spider diagrams to be able to plot your information. What do you mean by you put you are doing a study on corporate governance, put it in the middle, and all the information that you find, you try to position them around so they can have a picture or a collage of what the different articles that can influence what you're trying to do or get to know more about or research on. So if you have an idea that you want to research on, some people can research on quite interesting things. I remember somebody wanted to do understand why Ghana has not gone to space. And I was asking myself, wow, is that what you want to do? There's a lot to understand in Ghana concerning Ghana whilst we are on Earth. You now want to think about why Ghana has not gone to space. So there are interesting things that people have in their mind that they want to research on, but it's not everything that is researchable. So you should also check whether what you are trying to do is researchable. So with the spider diagram, what you do is that the title of what you are trying to look for, like corporate governance, is here. And then the first, maybe you can actually say, okay, I want to categorize my literature I've found according to country. So I have and West Africa on one side, then I have North Africa on one side, and I've got maybe Southern Africa on one side, I've got another maybe East Africa here. And I'll try to see whether I'll find any other examples of literature in these areas to be able to can build a very interesting collage that I can use to be able to delve into more information. So finding the information is not as getting to having a topic in mind is important. Then you can use that one to go and search for literature and physics for information. Okay. So that is spider diagram. Now let's look at some of the, okay, this is a bigger picture. So put the main topic in the middle and add the keywords on the arms of the diagrams. The key thing is to keep it brief. Okay. So I would have put the keyword in the middle, corporate governance, and I'll start adding other information that is here, maybe by year or by any other thing that I can be able to show as an example of the different literature. Why do we categorize literature? So that we can be able to easily read through and identify what matters to what is speaking concerning which theme. If I categorize my literature according to countries, I can be able to tell which country has received more research than the other based on just the count. Okay. Now, collecting data online. There are two ways that as a researcher you can collect your data. In fact, there are more ways, but two of the dominant ones that people use are they use Google Forms or they use SurveyMonkey. And I tend to prefer SurveyMonkey because it gives you an ability to do some analytics behind it. If you are doing just a simple questionnaire, linear questionnaire that you just want to yes or no answers, maybe using Google Forms maybe go. But if you want to use complex surveys, then you want to use a tool that can serve that complexity. Okay, so let's see how to use SurveyMonkey. But SurveyMonkey has quite a number of templates in it, so you can actually go to your website.
With SurveyMonkey, you can create world-class surveys, customize them to match exactly with your brand, and then use SurveyMonkey Genius to see if they need improvements or if they're ready to go. To start with, click Create Survey at the top of your page. You may find a bit of inspiration or exactly what you're looking for through our templates. Check out the most popular templates or search for some keywords. Then click on the template to learn more about it. If it fits your needs, click Use this template. And remember, you can edit it later on. If the templates aren't your thing, you can make a copy of any surveys you made before, or start with a blank canvas by clicking Start from Scratch. Give your survey a name and choose a category. If your questions are already written elsewhere, check this box so you can paste your questions in on the next page. Otherwise, click Create Survey to finish up. Now you've created your survey, it's time to add some questions. The question bank is a great place to start. These questions are written by our survey researchers.
So SurveyMonkey has a question bank that you can draw questions
Just
from.
choose the question bank.
And some of them are well-tested
questions
questions that
that
have got their good skills there so that I can
Give
apply.
it a click.
But I can also type and modify them.
When you're ready, click to add the questions into your survey. In case you'd rather write your own question, choose the Builder tab and then find the question type you'd like to use. You can click to add it to the end of your survey or drag the question anywhere you'd like. All that's left is to fill out the question. When you're done, make sure to save. If you'd like to split your survey into multiple pages, you can add a page break at any time.
So this is one interesting thing about SurveyMonkey. It helps you to be able to have the flexibility of moving content up on different pages and then to get a very nice presentation of your survey. Some surveys are done, but the presentation puts off people, and then they'll even end up completing them. Okay, so SurveyMonkey is a good thing. And they also have analytics, which is also good. Analytics about being able to look at the relationship between some of the data and then be able to tell for our advice on what could be causing that discrepancy.
From the Builder tab.
So you may want to look at that later. So
with SurveyMonkey, you can create world-class surveys.
Okay. Let's look at the one for analyzing data. I was mentioned earlier that SurveyMonkey can do some analytics, so I just want to show a little bit of it.
When someone completes your survey, you can look at the results right away. It's a great idea to scroll through the summaries for each question to get a feel for how people have responded.
Then easily customize your charts, filter for specific info, or compare results from different groups to help you uncover trends and insights that may not have been clear at first glance. The first thing you'll see when you go to the Analyze Results tab is a summary of the results for each question. For close-ended questions, like the multiple choice, we'll show you a visual.
So now you can actually see a visualization of it, and you just don't need to draw the visualization yourself. It will generate all the maps and then the relationships for you. And that's a very good automated tool. As compared to others that you have to do almost everything in my life, I've forgotten, it becomes a difficulty. Okay, so beyond, so you can use these tools, both serving to collect data, but beyond the data collection, sometimes because of what happened in COVID, people couldn't go out that much to collect data. But then what happened is that in some jurisdictions, like beyond Africa, quite a number of students didn't have this problem because there was data online for them to buy and use for their thesis and their dissertations, which is very different for a story in Ghana. So there are databases like in Science Direct, there's a journal called Data Improve that publishes just data. You can download their paper and read, and then just download their journal, and you can use an article from. You can use that one for a future study, and nobody will stop you. Okay. Then there is also the data right, which is also a curated resource that makes research data discoverable, freely reusable, citable, and it's a community-owned platform. So also has quite a number of data that has been put together that others can be able to buy and then use. But I think that you need to be a member before you can have access to see what they have. Then you also have a Figshare. Figshare helps you to store, share, and discover research. According to their own citations here, you say that they get more citations from all the outputs of your academic research. Over 5,000 citations of Figshare Figshare's content to date. So you have quite a number of good information here. And the data is there, so you can actually access the data and use it for your work. The data is there, you can actually access the data and use it for your work. Okay. So other ones that are also available is Kaggle. Kaggle, I think, is from Google. That helps you to get the data science data and see what you're going to use for data science data for. So I've got the Kaggle, is the world's largest data and science community with a powerful tools and research to help you achieve your data science goals. Okay. Okay. So what I would advise is that in effect, some of this data may be out there, but quite a number of African institutions are not signed up for them. So it'd be good for African institutions to sign up for them so that they, and then they can also motivate African researchers to get their data placed on platforms like that so that others can use across the world. And then mentor the students in using some of these open research data for their own legacy. And train faculty and students in internet research methods, which may also include social media where they need be. Okay. So in effect, this is what I wanted to present to you. I wanted you to just have an overview of different applications. I've talked about, firstly, I talked about the application that you use in the workspace from the cloud perspective and the mobile perspective. Then that led me to the collaborative tools, which predominantly, most of them are team-based working tools, which I show some of them. And then I rounded up with research where we try to understand how to find research, how to find literature, and how to be able to search for the information. And I did a demonstration of searching for the information, and then how to be able to not just search for data and search for information, but also be able to use other forms of data that you can collect through Google Forms or using SurveyMonkey, and then you can further analyze to be able to tell a story. Okay. So what I would say is that as of now, I would like everybody to think about, in your opinion, what have you learned? In your view, how can your office or unit use these internet apps I mentioned and some of the skills I mentioned? And then talk about 5 apps that you think that you need, that you can go into, that can enhance your productivity. So I'll allow you to have this in your group discussions, and I'll join you with your group discussions. Thank you very much. And I look forward to answering your questions.